It's not how many should, but what's the capacity of the downtown? I think that's a better question. I could get back to you on that. Okay, sure. The people who are going to come in first, as I said, are people who are of a certain type that really enjoy the edginess. You know, people who have, let's say, more bourgeois expectations, they're going to come in for entertainment. By the way, this pub crawl was very sort of chic. You know, a lot of people that don't live downtown saw the downtown and I think loved it. You need to induce them. But in the end, you need to have housing that fits them. I think you have to start with the young people that are using the bars and so forth first. And then, so the plan I'm going to give you, if I answer that question, it's going to be 20 years out. That's what should happen. Question right here.
Was the proposed I-10 bridge factored into your discussions at all?
I-10?
The proposed high-rise I-10 bridge?
I looked at the I-10 bridge. They're studying 3 trajectories. None of them interfere with this plan. I don't think that any of them, put it this way, the further the better because of the noise. The problem is we're trying to make a neighborhood here at Fort Condi, and the bridge is coming high, and it's going to be the second tallest bridge in the United States, I think. And what happens is that trucks climb very noisily, so I'm afraid of the noise. So I would say, I saw 3 trajectories, one relatively close. I would say that the further you can get it, the better, because you're going to have a whole new kind of noise pollution here. It'll be a background noise, even for the people living in the Church Street neighborhood and so forth. So I'm always surprised that the United States has enough money to build bridges like that, because we seem to not. So we'll see. I mean, I think we can repair things, but building that kind of infrastructure this day and age, I don't see it. But let me just think out loud. The further is from downtown, the better, of the 3 trajectories that I saw, because noise.
Thank you.
Andres, Barton Academy is currently vacant. What kind of an asset would that be for revitalizing downtown Mobile?
Well, this is a dream, right? But I was thinking, we had a thought, I had a conversation with an Airbus, very high Airbus executive, and I was asking how many Europeans are coming, how many Germans, Belgians, French, etc. And there's going to be a lot of exposure to Europe in this direction. You know, many people are going to hear about Mobile. And it could be possible that many people in Mobile should also get to know Europe much more intimately. One way to do it, and we were discussing the schools, I said, what would it take for Europeans to go to the public schools here? And they said, well, they would have to be like European schools. And then we went on and thought, well, what would happen if the Barton Academy were a European school, a European high school? You know, just like there are American high schools in Europe, why can't there be a European school here? And then that went on to say, well, we could bring some European teachers here and take some school teachers from Mobile to Europe. And then we could exchange students. I mean, there could be a student exchange, there could be teacher exchanges and so forth. So you're not just exchanging technology, you're actually exchanging culture. You know, get to know. I think it would be wonderful for the teachers of Mobile to have that opportunity. It'd be wonderful for the students. I mean, I think the German kids would love it. This place is really fun. Guarantee it, more fun than Germany. And etc. And, you know, I think that's a natural extension of this kind of big creative thing that Airbus is. it isn't just technology. It isn't just social. Yeah, you're going to have more interesting cocktail parties. But in the end, what's it going to be like culturally, the kids and so forth? And I think I love the idea of school teachers actually traveling to other places and seeing how it's done. So my vote is that in the unique window that Airbus represents, that be conceptualized as a kind of European school, you know, tied to maybe a school in Germany, specifically to a single school in Dusseldorf or wherever the factory is. I should know, but I don't. Hamburg, perfect. That's a really great place. And a port. In fact, I've seen the factory. It's the old Heinkel factory. Are you from there? Okay, well, actually, I had just this summer, I had across the port, you know, there's that inn there that looks over the factory. Across the river, yeah, I saw it. Cool. Well, Hamburg is very nice. They're building some great neighborhoods there. By the way, you know, Hamburg was heavily bombed.
I would just like...
And this place looks more bombed than Hamburg now. Hamburg doesn't have empty spaces. We do. It's really quite pathetic. You know, and that's an old joke, but it looks like we bombed ourselves. Hamburg has healed itself beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And furthermore, it's taken its port. There's a place called Hamburg Hafen, which is an island, an old port, that they've turned into a beautiful place with an opera house that I saw this summer. Really sharp. And I think that seeing that would really raise, I think, expectations here. Yep.
It is, I work with a small nonprofit, and we've been working on a lot of issues related to livability for the last 10 years. It is so incredible to listen to this presentation and to see the energy and the ideas and the enthusiasm. You know, I know you've traveled to many cities and places and engaged the public on a different vision. I want to ask what your perception is the energy here and the willingness now in this city, do you think, to do these type things that really return us to a more livable city than we've been in the past?
Well, I'll tell you flat out. My team happened to consist of a lot of young people this time. You know, we have all sorts of people in the office, and it was just loaded for young people by chance. And they adore this place. They think it's their favorite city. It's really good. It's really good for the young, partially because it's affordable, you know. But it's also, I think, it's really good for retired people, because the streets that you have are so gentle. They're so narrow and walkable and crossable. You know, that you can just see people walking around of any age, the really young and the really old, not needing cars very easily in this city. All we need to do is to get those to get the supermarket and the department store and just more housing, and then there's an almost incredible American dream, almost unattainable anywhere, which is living actually without needing a car. And that is very much the ideal of the young people, and of course the old people are forced to do that once they lose their driver's license.
We have one more question.
I've noticed that a key to a lot of resurgence is sports. I got a feel for that in Denver, but even going into Montgomery or over to Pensacola, I've seen they've put in stadiums and what a great effect they've had on downtowns. Is that, does a downtown have to do that, or have you considered that?
You mean a sports venue? Like baseball? Well, I know those places. I know that in Montgomery they have the Biscuits, and it is a totally cool stadium. You know, really laid back, wonderful to watch slow baseball there. I actually love Montgomery for that. But also Montgomery has a very interesting planning